Congratulations, class of 2021.
Didn't really do much with high school.
In doing so, you've made a difference.
I was always thinking about flying.
Meaning of resilience.
I had to go to high school, get through it, then I could go fly airplanes.
J.L. Man High, class of 2021, and one grad made sure to miss it.
I dream about flying every day.
Ben Templeton had a date, dressed in yellow. She's a lot older than he is.
This is it's a 1946 J3 Cub. It's made by Piper Aircraft in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania.
At Triple Tree Aviation, way out in the country. On graduation day itself, Ben skipped out to take a spin.
It's just a backwoods, bare bones flying airplane.
All by himself
Compass, that's the only thing you have for navigation.
to 48 states.
You look out the window and you can find where you're going.
Where you at, Parker? I'll just join up on you right
You get lost sometimes.
now. I'll just join up on you if that's cool.
It's an app called 4Flight. It shows you all the passes and valleys and roads to follow and common routes through the mountains. 2 months, 160 stops, almost 200 hours of flying.
Yes, he's young, 18 years old, in a tail-wheel airplane covered in fabric with just 90 horsepower. Ben plotted the trip to fly her along roads in case of engine failure.
I'm not too nervous. I've grown up flying.
Oh, but this does take some nerve, especially if you're Ben's mom. Christine Templeton watched her little boy grow a passion for those model planes at Triple Tree, watched him grow into a pilot who first soloed at 7 in the morning before school.
It's just making me nervous.
Don't be nervous.
It's funny, I'm more worried about where you're gonna sleep, what's gonna happen.
Christine, he's gonna be fine.
I know. Can I have a hug really quick, Ben? Just
The day he left, some boyhood innocence left the ground with him. Traded for a low-altitude acquaintance with America. These are Ben's graduation photographs. And so much more.
Mom was a little nervous about how I'm going to find Walla Walla, Washington when it's 4,000 miles away.
This is a tachometer. It's really cool because it's still got the Cub logo in the background.
In the background, Don Wade knows that old airplane.
Old guys like me are going to live vicariously through you, through your adventures. All we got to do is just loosen these screws.
Okay.
And he and a slew of volunteers made sure the engine makes it cross-country.
Follow on the app. I want to see where he's at. And like I say, he's going to be using our motor. So
Yeah.
we're excited about our motor going to all the lower 48 states.
Their names are written on the body, and a young man's passion is in them. Ben's college-bound, plans to fly for a living one day, but for 2 months this summer, it's all for the joy and the challenge.
And I love it. If it's got wings and wheels, I'll fly it.
Out of a country airfield called Triple Tree. Ben's country
oh, he waved. Look at him.
is waiting.
Gosh.
The Greenville County Aquatic Complex. Bill Ewell whistles. Parker Egbert works.
Yo!
I have an ability of being able to whistle. He just kicks it in when I whistle.
So his coach signals. And Parker kicks. And kicks.
He'll give it 110% until he has nothing left to give.
There you go, Parker. There you go.
It just turned into like 3 days a week to 4 days a week to 5 days a week, then doubles.
But these are no run-of-the-mill two-a-days.
Meantime, two-time Olympian Abby Wambach.
At 3:30 a.m., 6 days a week.
This upcoming Olympics in Tokyo.
Parker's mom, Laura, makes the 70-minute drive from Greenwood to Greenville.
He's never complained when I wake him up at 3 in the morning. Never once said, I don't want to do this.
home for school, back again at night.
I think we're kind of just so used to it. When you're putting 300 miles on your car a day, we feel like this is his opportunity.
Between the lanes, beneath the waves, Parker's found peace and quiet.
It makes me very, very calm.
When he was little, I noticed just some differences. He wasn't staying with his friends. He started not liking sounds. I kind of started picking up on maybe autism.
Mom was right, and at 18 months old, the Egberts started more than 40 hours a week in therapy.
I mean, I was grasping at anything I could possibly grasp at that would help him. After he would swim, he was just calm and quiet and peaceful.
Life now is with Team Greenville, where Parker's competitive side took off.
We talk and go, hey, Parker, this person next to you, oh, I got him. I can beat him.
He just has an internal flame that keeps him, trying to be better.
Step up.
And swimming faster all the time. An intellectual disability meant he was eligible for Paralympic competition. So when COVID closed the aquatic center, the Egberts installed an endless pool in their backyard.
I mean, it was April and he was freezing to death wearing a wetsuit in our pool swimming.
There you go, nicely done.
His world is his swimming, but his world is his family. His world is respect.
Your current American record holder.
All in sync.
Parker Egbert.
Last month in Minnesota,
Greenwood, South Carolina.
Parker found out he will be a United States Paralympian.
Parker Egbert.
How could we get so lucky for our prayers and our path to get answered? Now we have a Paralympian for a son.
I don't know if it's even hit, and maybe it's hitting even right now.
All I've ever prayed for is some independence and some purpose in his life.
One lap at a time, with a quote from Michael Phelps, Parker's favorite swimmer, propelling him onward.
The more you'll dream, the farther you'll get.
Under his cap, behind his goggles, Parker's dreams are 50 meters away.
He really puts things in perspective. He's so much more pure in his love for the sport because he's just wide-eyed.
I think he's taught me how to be a better parent. I focused on the little things, is my house clean, is this done, are the grades right, and at the end of the day, I say to all three of my kids, be kind. Go out there and be a kind human being, because to me, that's more important than anything, and all we want is kindness for him.
Magical is probably, inspirational is probably even another way to be able to look at it. And I think the joy that he gets out of it, just to see what he has been able to do.
Yep.
I don't actually think one needs patience to be a fly fisherman, but the conditions change daily. You have to wake up in the morning if you're guiding and check the weather. Did it rain overnight? Is the flow of the river up? Is the water coloured? To be successful as a fly angler, one definitely needs to understand the bugs in the river that they are fishing. Trout generally key in on shape, colour and size. I'm David Richards with Davidson River Outfitters here in Brevard, North Carolina. Davidson River, where we've been fly fishing for trout today. And another. Good one. Whoa. Both hooks are barbless. We have been catching rainbow trout today. You're going home. I received a phone call from Veterans Last Patrol. They had a veteran in hospice care.
Hospice care is defined as the last few months of life.
They basically had a last wish to catch one more trout on a fly.
A bucket list item for Mr. Houck.
I don't know how somebody says no to a request like that.
Does that feel good?
I don't want to take his phone so we don't lose that in the river.
You uncomfortable?
No. When we met, he was wheelchair bound, had relatively recent heart surgery.
They told him a couple of different times that he's lucky to be alive even now, and he's still alive.
So we were pretty much on some seriously borrowed time.
I'm blown away that you guys are willing to do this.
Think about how do you get an individual in a wheelchair down a riverbank into the water, situate him securely in the water.
Mr. Houck is a rare breed. He's still going strong. He has a sense of humor beyond what most people do. He's very positive. He has family around him.
I was literally his eyes. I told him what to do, when to do it. To cast for him occasionally when he got a little tired, mend the line and let him control the drift, and he would set the hook. It's definitely called fishing for a reason. It would be nice if it was called catching every day, but it's not. We picked a day when the fish didn't want to cooperate with us. Come on. Mr. Houck was starting to get a little bit physical discomfort after about half an hour.
He had already said it was time to go.
So I asked him to let me make one more change. He cast 3 times. On the 3rd cast, the indicator went down. He set the hook.
We caught a fish right then.
Possibly the longest trout fight I have ever experienced. Just wanting that fish to slide over the rim of the net and give him the chance to touch that last trout.
For me, coming out here with a veteran on a bucket list, my gosh, it's just, I know Mr. Houck got a lot out of it. Those of us around him probably got as much or more.
That man wanted to catch a fish, and I think the only person that maybe wanted him to catch a fish more than himself was me. Taking a man in a wheelchair down a riverbank and into the water and putting him on a chair and 6 other people, 4 cameras, and all the pressure one puts on themselves, trying to get him to catch a trout on a fly. I don't know that I knew at the time, but that was the most intense 75 minutes I have ever spent on a river. I was not going to let that man down.
It's hard to explain. It's just hard to really explain. Until you are around these men and you talk to them and get to know them, it's just, it's very heartening, very heartening.
The thrill of helping someone catch their first fish or even their last fish is equally exciting. But this particular memory will stick with me for a very long time.
Modified sprint, looking for you on the speedway.
Roll them when you're ready.
We are green.
Go, go, go! We'll be ready to pick it up. Coming inside by himself.
It's always been a pretty big deal.
One back, watch your bear.
You are the leader. It's about as competitive as it gets.
You better go, homie.
If you're going to win tonight, you better have your stuff together.
He's up down the back straightaway.
It's a game of 1,000.
Corn biscuit in 2nd place.
We're in Clover, South Carolina.
Easily South Carolina.
We're at Fountain RC Complex.
My name's Tickle. I'm a redneck spaghetti stretcher. That's all I can do to work a smartphone.
Eat, sleep, breathe it every day. If I'm not here, I'm usually working on the car. If I'm not working on the car, I'm talking to somebody about racing.
Be at work on lunch break and be thinking about, I think if I'd have changed that left front spring, might have been a little quicker.
Just like a big car. Every small change makes a big difference.
A lot of people may think, RC racing is just a little remote control car that you buy at Walmart or something. It's far from that.
Everything that NASCAR's got on it, you've got on here.
It gives you the real feel. I mean, you feel like you're sitting in the car driving it when you're holding on to that radio control unit. 23cc weed eater style engine, weighs 30 pounds, sitting on 4-shock tube chassis, 4 different compounds of tires on it, multiple different springs, gear ratios.
I'm from the swamps of Georgia. I'm 4 hours away from home right now. So, needless to say, I didn't ride up here to suck. So many adjustments.
Math, geometry.
So many variables.
All the stuff you didn't like in high school.
And they run so fast.
We've had them clocked here before by Highway Patrol.
And you run so close together.
At 65 miles an hour, if you can believe that.
Yeah, we come back and scratch our head all the time. You can't let it get you down because that's the way racing works.
A lot of secrets are kept in between what you figure out and what somebody else is doing. You don't want to give away your secrets for speed.
There's a lot of NASCAR drivers that have RC
They
cars.
come here to find speed secrets for the big cars. Like the trailer next to us.
Currently, I work at Kyle Busch Motorsports.
He's a crew chief.
I've been in the NASCAR big leagues, the top 3 for my 17th season.
RC racing is kind of his break away from the reality stuff.
It keeps my brain sharp, it keeps me thinking about racing, and it keeps me thinking about changes and what does what. But it's the same work ethic, it's the same testing, it's the same of everything. And the reason why I choose this is because I can compete at the highest level and be able to afford to compete at the highest level.
We're not lucky enough to have a big team and a car hauler and go down to Greenville Pickens and race every weekend. This is our way of getting the same satisfaction with less money.
There's one thing that you should note. If I wreck my car, flip it 15 times, I walk away from it every time.
Camaraderie here with our little community in RC racing is a lot bigger than what people think.
We travel around all over the country doing this together.
We had nationals here a year or so ago, and they was from 29 states.
Michigan,
Pennsylvania, Ohio,
Illinois,
North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina.
Indiana.
As far away as New England.
I can work on the motors pretty well, take them apart, put them back together.
Not a whole lot of women drivers.
I'm still learning what I do to the car and how it affects
That
it.
lady you was talking to was Gabby Allhouse from Ohio. She is good.
It's intimidating being the only lady, especially because I'm younger than a lot of people too.
And she's competitive. When her car's right and handling right, she's as fast as anybody out there.
I get a thrill out of just racing with everyone, and the feeling when I qualify in the fastest time is just really great to me.
That one time that you hit the setup and it runs perfect and you go over and look at your lap times and they're quicker than you ever been before, that's what it's all about.
At the end of the day, if you win, you can walk through there with your chest poked out and tell them, come get me next time. That's what it's all about. That's what racing really is. Who had the biggest set? And who had the best equipment? Who had the smartest people working on the car? And it's still the same thing. It's just the cars are this small instead of full size.
White flag left, let's turn by. One to go.
Come on. 5 back to the 7.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Everybody give me a caution here.